Well, thanks for staying with us. While much of the focus this time of year is on the joy and gifting surrounding the holidays, it's not always an easy time for everybody. Joining us today in studio is Cynthia Vaske. She's a clinical social worker with UnityPoint St. Luke's. So thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
The holidays can be a really tough time financially for a lot of people, and that can lead to a lot of tension. How do you combat that this time of year?
Well, I think it's really important to stay realistic and work within your budget. And, you know, that sounds like a great idea. It's easier said than done, but you know, typically people can go to the dollar store and get their wrapping paper and, you know, things that they need for the dinner, their napkins, or, I mean, I'm not
even food. I mean, a lot of dollar stores have food.
Yes, and I'm not, you know, an advertisement for the dollar store, but I'm just saying you can, you know, be creative and think about different ways to save money. I think we tend to want to keep up with what our kids' parents are doing. So let's say Susie next door is going to get an iPad for Christmas. Do you have to go buy your son an iPad? Or can you get a $79 tablet of some sort that is the same thing, it's just not the iPad?
Right.
You know, so you have to make compensations sometimes, but you can still work within your budget and financially work it out. You know, the key is to be realistic and really focus on what this is about.
Right, the time with your family.
The time with your family and celebration. It's a birthday party for Jesus.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and okay, so let's touch on that a little bit. You know, we all like to focus on the, okay, let's get our families together, but that in itself can be a problem for a lot of families because not everybody gets along, or mom and dad fight in front of the kids, or, you know, not everybody likes the aunt that comes to visit. So how do you combat those kind of awkward family situations?
Well, I think we have to focus on, you know, what we're there for. We're there in that giving spirit, and we're there to try to get along. I've seen different things happen over the holidays. I've seen dysfunctional families, which most of us are to begin with, you know, really get out of control, and it gets pretty ugly over the holidays. And then I've seen people, those same dysfunctional families, come together and with forgiveness in their heart and love,
bury the hatchet,
and they bury the hatchet and they can move on. And so it's really magical. It's a magical time of year, really, in so many different ways. Again, be realistic, you know, set boundaries. Maybe you go to visit at a different time than some other family member if you're having a problem with that person. You know, we don't tolerate disrespect or abuse or anything like that.
So avoid conflict if you can.
Yes, avoid conflict if you can, and set boundaries for yourself.
Okay, and real quick, we're almost out of time, but there are people who don't have anyone to spend the holidays with, or who may even be losing someone this year, or lost someone around this time. How do you combat that?
Well, I think with the grieving process, you're going to be grieving if you lose someone, no matter what time of year it is. And again, you know, go through that grieving process. Don't feel like you have to put on your happy face just because it's Christmas. You know, you have feelings and you're hurting. And I think everyone around you could respect that. In terms of being alone, I think it's really important for all of us to reach out to our churches and find out, you know, or different community organizations, find out who's truly alone. And you could go visit them, you know, an hour that day wouldn't take very much of your time, and it would mean so much to someone who is alone, truly alone.
Lots of ways to help out in the next couple of weeks for sure. So, Cynthia, thanks so much for joining us today.